anybody would decide to have a press conference on the 405 at 9 o'clock in the morning is trying to make a point. And the point is, there's gridlock on the 405 virtually any time of the day, but particularly during the rush hour. And if you think it's bad now, let me just make something absolutely clear. On July 16th and 17th, it will be an absolute nightmare. And that's why we're asking the public to plan ahead, to avoid the area, to not go on the 405 or anywhere close during that period of time. Good morning, everybody, and thank you for joining us this morning. I want to acknowledge all of the governmental, public safety, transportation, and business leaders who are here today. We're all working together to prepare the public for the temporary closure of a section of the 405 freeway. Now, 5 weeks from now, we'll take a significant step forward in our effort to reduce traffic congestion and commutes here in Los Angeles. The next step is the construction of a 10-mile northbound carpool lane and the completion of the last gap of the carpool lane network here in Southern California. Now, when it's completed in 2013, this project will provide commuters with a continuous carpool lane from Orange County all the way to the San Fernando Valley, saving commuters a minute per mile in the carpool lanes. That's 10 minutes a day saved over the Sepulveda Pass. It will help reduce congestion on one of the busiest freeway corridors in the region, will provide access to and from the West Side venues such as Westwood, UCLA, and LAX. It will also create direct and indirect jobs, and it's a federally funded project that will help to expedite the region's economic recovery. Now, I say all of that because there's an obvious long-term gain, but there will be short-term pain along with it. At midnight on Friday, July 15th, the I-405 Sepulveda Pass Improvement Project will shut down the 405 freeway northbound between the 10 and the 101 and southbound from the 101 to Getty Center Drive. It will be open again for traffic at 5 a.m. on Monday, July 18th, in time for your morning commute to work. Now, during this closure, construction crews will demolish half of the Mulholland Bridge, which you can see here in the Sepulveda Pass. This is part of a $1 billion capacity improvement on the I-405. And so to everyone who drives and commutes in the Los Angeles area, plan ahead, avoid the area, or stay home. Go on vacation that weekend. Eliminate all unnecessary auto trips and do your part to help reduce congestion on the major freeway network and major arterials. Now, if you must commute July 16th or 17th, take an alternative route or ride the Metro subway for free that weekend. Extra buses will be added on the Orange Line, Sunset, Santa Monica, Fairfax, and Ventura Boulevards. Now, we selected non-workday dates in July to minimize impacts to motorists as much as possible, but even still, approximately 500,000 vehicles travel over the 405 on a typical July weekend. Our goal is that 70% of these vehicles, or about 175,000 vehicles per day, will avoid the 405 because of the work that you're going to do, hopefully, to get the word out. Now, I'm confident that with the public's cooperation, we can minimize the impacts of the closure, but make no mistake, it is going to be a very, very difficult time for all. There will be frequent updates on 511metro.net Facebook.com/405, SIGAlert.com, Facebook and Twitter. Caltrans message signs across the state will soon broadcast advance notice. Transportation agencies are working in a coordinated fashion with law enforcement, emergency responders, local residents, businesses, and commuters to make sure that all of this is done as smoothly as possible. Again, as we work towards easing congestion and commute times and over that weekend, plan ahead, avoid the area, go on vacation, or stay home. So with that, let me bring my friend who will get almost as many, maybe not almost as many, but will get a lot of calls from his constituents because of all of this. The LA County Supervisor who represents this area and a member of the Metropolitan Transit Authority Board, Zev Yaroslavsky. I say your name so well.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. Well, they're calling this Carmageddon, and our objective is to prove all of the predictors wrong, that it doesn't need to be a Carmageddon. Let me just repeat a few things that the mayor has said. There are no alternative routes that will conveniently work for anyone going through the 405 corridor. The best alternative route is to totally avoid the 405 area, completely avoid it, don't come anywhere near it, don't even think about coming to it, stay the heck out of here. And then you won't be aggravated, no one will be aggravated, and everybody will be happy for a short 53-hour weekend. I've represented this area for 36 years. I know every shortcut over the hill in both directions. Not one of them is going to work on the weekend of the 15th, 16th, and 17th. Not one of them. Not Roscommare, not Benedict, not Beverly Glen, not PCH. They're all going to be jammed. Sepulveda will only be accessible to local residents. So if you don't have to drive from one side of the Santa Monica Mountains to the other, don't. And if for some reason you have to go from Encino to the airport, for example, don't come anywhere in this area. Go all the way downtown. Go down the Harbor Freeway to the 105 and then go to the airport. It may be 25 miles longer, it'll be 4 hours shorter. So that's really the message. This is not rocket science, and it's not the first time Los Angeles has had this problem. Some of you are old enough to remember the 1994 earthquake. One or two of you. In 1994, the Santa Monica Freeway collapsed somewhere between Fairfax and Robertson. That freeway for 3 months was not usable, and Angelenos found a way around it. And like water will find its own level, traffic will find its own level over a 3-month period. But over a 3-day period or 2-day period, it's very difficult. And so our objective today is to make sure that every man, woman, and child in Southern California knows that at 10 o'clock on July 15th until the early morning hours of Monday, July 18th, this freeway is going to be closed, period. Everyone should know that. And if motorists in Los Angeles know that the 405 will be closed, they'll do the next best thing. Because Angelenos, if they know nothing else, and they know an awful lot, they know how to drive and navigate traffic jams and how to avoid them. And that's our message today. This is a necessary project. It's got to be done. It's going to be over before we know it. So Los Angeles, we need to suck it up, be ready for a tough weekend, and by Monday, July 18th, it'll be over. And then we get to do it one more time a few months later when we have to tear down the other side of the Mulholland Bridge over the 405. But it's something that will serve the interests of our citizens and for future generations of commuters for many years to come, because this is going to complete the HOV lane from Orange County to the 101 and beyond, something that we've been longing for many, many years. It will improve air quality, it'll improve traffic movement, it'll encourage people to carpool and vanpool, and that's really the ultimate objective here on this billion-dollar project. Who am I introducing? Back to you? All right. I'm going to turn it back over to the mayor. Thank you very much.
With us as well is a council member representing this area who will also get a lot of calls over that weekend and is working, the city, the county, the Metropolitan Transit Authority, the LAPD, the fire department, all of us will be working together to make sure this goes as smoothly as possible. But as was mentioned, it will not be smooth in this area. Next speaker with us is Paul Koretz.
Well, thank you, Mr. Mayor. There's only one message that we have to get across. July 16th and 17th, stay the hell away from the 405. This is going to be a closure like we've never seen in this area. Think of China and what you've seen on TV, where they have 9-day long traffic closures on their freeways. It's going to be like that for 2 days, July 16th and 17th. Don't come anywhere near it. Stay the heck away. There's no way to mitigate it. The only way we get through this is by everyone staying far away from that point on the west side. Don't come near the 405. Don't come near Sepulveda, and things will go well for you. Otherwise, avoid the area like the plague. Now, the one thing I've done is I put in a motion on Friday asking the city to come back to us by June 22nd with a report on all the mitigation measures we're taking to make sure we do every possible thing we can, working with the Department of Transportation and the fire department and the LAPD to make sure we do what we can to get the word out and mitigate this as well as we can. But there's only one way we make this work. Get the word out to your friends, email them, go viral. Any way we can, stay the hell away from the 405 in the middle of July. Thank you.
With us is a man who was also stuck on the 405 a few minutes ago. He chairs the Transportation Committee, and he is going to be very, very involved in this whole effort. Councilmember Bill Rosendahl.
Look, they used all the words. There's nothing more left to say. But there's another issue. It's Sepulveda itself and the work going on there. The irony was I got stuck on Sepulveda just now as we had people out squeezing you to one lane on both sides. Okay, timing is everything in this world. And I spoke with Mike this morning, and we're going to work on the way we're going to deal with the closure on the other artery, which is Sepulveda, at the same time. We cannot close that at the same time we're closing this and creating it. It's paralysis just getting here today. Whoever picked 9 o'clock this morning dramatized the reality of the gridlock on the west side of Los Angeles, which is obviously for all of us on the west side beyond our acceptance level. Paul is on that side, I'm on this side. Together, Paul and I go right through the middle of this gridlock situation. Of course, that weekend, the 15th, 16th, and 17th, put it in your calendars now, public, and stay away from the west side and avoid what will be going on. There's no other way to widen it without shutting it down for a period of time. But I say to all the utilities, when you start working on Sepulveda, we have to make it so that it isn't during the day. And if we can stop it from the day and just do it at night, that makes a lot of sense because you can't have that artery shut down at the same time. So once again, I got no hyperbole other than, folks, just grab your calendar and put an X on 15, 16, and 17, and don't come to this side of town to get over the hill one way or the other. Thanks for being here this morning.
Also with us is the Metrolink board chair, Richard Katz, who will, I assume, will say, go Metrolink. Mr. Katz.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And Go Metrolink is the answer to part of this problem. It is the answer that comes for those people who cannot stay away, stay home, or absolutely have to travel. And in keeping with the spirit that Zev set earlier, since this is Los Angeles, we think this project should probably be renamed the Nightmare on the 405. Everyone is going to be impacted. And the point we can't stress enough is it's not just in the area around the 405. It's literally from Santa Barbara to San Diego to Antelope Valley and places beyond. If people come to visit or relatives, Metrolink wants to send the message that if you have to travel, we provide an alternative that gets you out of your car. If you can fly out of Burbank instead of LAX, you can take Metrolink to Burbank Airport. We're adding additional trains in the Antelope Valley area. We're adding additional trains coming up and going back and forth to Orange County. Check the schedules, check our website at www.metrolinktrains.com or on Twitter, because there are alternatives. Again, the mayor is exactly right. Stay home, stay away, go on vacation. But if you absolutely have to travel, Metrolink gives you choices. Be sure to check out the website and Twitter. Thank you very much. Mr. Mayor, thank you.
With us is the District Director of Caltrans, District Number 7, Michael Miles. As you know, Caltrans is in charge of a lot of things around this town, particularly the design-build portion. The MTA is responsible for the ultimate completion of this line, but we're working very closely with Caltrans. Michael Miles.
Thank you. As the owner and operator of the California freeway systems and highways, Caltrans has one major goal: to make sure the motorists get where they want to go safely and efficiently. And this closure is going to make it very difficult to get anywhere efficiently. So the key that everybody has been saying is that you really need to stay away from this area during the closure. It's just going to be a horrendous backup. It's going to trickle all the way down to the 210 and beyond. So it's going to be a really horrendous weekend. So you need to really plan your trips and just think about what you need to do and stay away. Yeah, barbecue would be good that weekend. Believe me when I say that this closure is 100% necessary. We have looked at hundreds of different alternatives on how we could do this and get away without closing the freeway and having a full closure. But the way the structures are designed and the way that we have to do this, it has to be segmented, and this is the only way to do it is with 100% closure of the freeway. So we're really working hard to make sure that that closure goes off without a hitch. The carpool lane will allow this freeway to remain a viable transportation facility into the future. This freeway carries about 500,000 cars a day, which is a tremendous amount. But with the carpool lane, it's going to become more efficient, it's going to save the motorist time, and it's going to help you get to where you want to go. It's going to complete the carpool lane, as has been said before, from Orange County to the 101, which is going to be a big improvement. One of the things that we've been doing with Metro and in cooperation is we formed a unified command with the Los Angeles Department of Transportation, Metro, LAPD, California Highway Patrol, other law enforcement agencies, and fire department to make sure that we have emergency services and that this closure will be conducted in a very professional manner. And we will have a lot of boots on the ground with LAPD and CHP and others to make sure that this goes as best it can given the circumstances. We know that there's no good time to close the 405. We've selected a weekend during non-work hours to help try to get this thing through. We've also been coordinating with sporting events and commuters to talk about what we're going to do and how it's going to be handled. Nevertheless, there are going to be significant delays. We can't avoid it. It's going to back up probably all the way to the San Bernardino County with the 210 and the 134 and others, because it's just going to make a mess. This is why Caltrans is continuing to inform motorists statewide. We're going to have our changeable message signs on. We're going to try to notify people in Northern California, working with Metro and their public affairs people. There's a lot of effort going on for community outreach. I understand they have like 6,000 different organizations they've been working with and notifying to let them know that this closure is going to be taking place. Again, it's going to be a nightmare. As everybody has said, you need to stay away. We at Caltrans are going to suggest that this is a get to know your neighborhood weekend. It's going to give you time to explore local shopping, entertainment, and recreational activities in your own neighborhood. You won't have to travel anywhere. It's going to be right there, so you can go out there, and you're going to be surprised what you're going to discover in your own neighborhood if you take that opportunity. Again, we believe that the benefits of this project are going to greatly overshadow this temporary, short-lived closure and make the 405 operate much better in the future and hopefully make it a viable freeway for years to come. Thank you.
Also with us is Jim Kanzler, James Kanzler, the LAPD commander representing the Unified Command.
Thank you, Mayor. Good morning. I'm Commander Jim Kanzler. I'm the incident commander for the Los Angeles Police Department, and we are in unified command with the Los Angeles Fire Department, the Los Angeles Department of Transportation, and the California Highway Patrol. Represented with the Los Angeles Fire Department is Deputy Chief Mario Rueda. Los Angeles Department of Transportation is represented by Transportation Engineer Aram Sahakian, and the California Highway Patrol is represented by Chief Steve Bisart of the Southern Division. The Unified Command has been working a number of weeks together to put a robust public safety plan in the impacted area over this 53-hour period to focus on traffic mitigation, emergency response to police and fire calls. The concept of operations has broken the area into 4 parts, basically from the 10 freeway to the 101, with the 405 being the dividing line. The Los Angeles Police Department and the Los Angeles Fire Department will pre-stage a large contingency of emergency personnel and resources over this 53-hour period in the impacted area. Additionally, an extra contingency of motor officers will be deployed, pre-staged, to respond to radio calls for emergencies with support from black and white police officers. Along with the motor officers will escort our emergency personnel from the fire department to medical and fire emergencies. With that, the aerial support, we will receive aerial support from obviously the Los Angeles Police Department and the Los Angeles Fire Department, so we can constantly assess the situation, to redeploy assets, and to keep constant current time updates. The Los Angeles Fire Department has reached out to the Los Angeles County Health Services and area hospitals to ensure coordination. Additionally, the Los Angeles Fire Department has developed an extensive brush fire response and evacuation plan if the need arises in the impacted area and immediate surroundings. I can assure the public you can expect a high level of service from the police department and the fire department and an emergency medical response. And that same level of response and that same level of expectation that you've come to expect. The Los Angeles Department of Transportation will have heavy deployment of traffic officers and engineers in and around the impacted area to mitigate traffic by opening intersections and adjusting tri-light signals. In addition to boots on the ground, the Los Angeles Department of Transportation will have their automated traffic surveillance and control center fully staffed to monitor key intersections, and along with that, monitoring the roadway detection system, and again, to adjust signal timing and open up intersections, the free flow of traffic. The California Highway Patrol will deploy an extra contingent of motor officers throughout the county to mitigate traffic congestion throughout the freeway system. They'll also be staffing their command center with Caltrans to monitor the freeway system to make real-time adjustments. I want to talk about alternate routes just for a moment. For all intents and purposes, the 405 freeway is shut down from the 10 freeway. The 405 freeway is shut down from the 10 freeway to the 101. But alternate freeway routes that the CHP will be monitoring are the 126, the 23, the 118, the 605, the 101 north and south, the 10 east and west, the Glendale freeway, the 710, the 134, the 210, the 105, the 710, and the Harbor Freeway. In summary, and the bottom line is just as Mayor Villaraigosa said, we're asking the public, if you have to travel the weekend of July 16th and 17th, please, please plan ahead. Avoid the area of the 405 between the 10 and the 101 freeways. If at all possible, stay at home. And I'll conclude with this. I first started identifying the Unified Command, but I was a bit remiss when I did not include the Unified Command of the public. If we all work together in a unified command, and that means the public, we will be successful on July 15th, 16th, and 17th. Thank you.
As you can see, this is a gargantuan effort on the part of all of the governmental entities, the business organizations here. The president and CEO of the Los Angeles Chamber of Commerce would have been here, but we just found out that he's stuck in traffic. So I guess another example of why people need to take this admonition very, very seriously. With us as well as another partner, representing the American Automobile Association, Steve Finnegan.
I'm Steve Finnegan with the Automobile Club of Southern California. The Auto Club has 6 million members in Southern California, 2.5 million in Los Angeles County and in Ventura County. And we're using a variety of means to notify our members about this issue. We're going to be using our website, AAA.com. We're going to be using email and also our district offices to let people know the same messages you've been hearing here today, to plan ahead, to avoid the area, and if possible, to stay at home. The Auto Club also has the largest travel agency in Southern California. So we're letting people know who are traveling that weekend, who need to make it to LAX or arriving at LAX, what are the options, what are the alternatives they can do. One of those might even include staying in a hotel the night before if you have an outbound flight outside of the Los Angeles area. It's going to be a tough weekend in the middle of July, but I think the result is going to be better mobility and more safety for motorists in West Los Angeles and the San Fernando Valley, really for decades to come. Thank you very much.
And finally, Michael Barber, the project director with the I-405 Sepulveda Pass Improvement Project. The man of the hour. Save the best for last.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so I'm going to give you my 555 fund number. Thanks, Mr. Mayor. I'd also like, before we get started, just to thank the mayor for supporting the project, specifically in the funding, Prop 1B funds. Without that, this project wouldn't be going. To begin with, and I appreciate all the support for the project here today, to close down the 405 takes really an effort between all the agencies involved with this. This is a very significant thing. We're trying to minimize the impacts not only to the 405 but the locals here. One of the big questions that keeps coming up that we keep answering is why close the 405? You'll notice we've had several other closures to tear down Skirball and also Sunset. We only had to do northbound and southbound at one at a time on those closures, specifically because there's a support pier in the middle of the 405 for those, which made it safe to do that. Mulholland's a little different animal because if you can see it behind me here, it's really one span that clears the whole 405. And we could not find a safe way to tear it down one span or half a span at a time. So unfortunately, that's where we are today. To begin with, some other questions have been coming up about the demolition process. Essentially, the contractor is going to be, his first activity is to put down about 6 foot of blanket of material, soil underneath the bridge to protect the freeway for when the demolition process. And the second phase really is to separate the two structures. There'll be slotting, they call it slotting, longitudinally between the part that's being torn down and the part that's going to be kept up. After that's done, then they'll start the demo process from down below and on top of the bridge. Essentially, we're looking at other options to really kind of get us to ensure that we're open here on Monday morning, and we're pretty confident that, we're very confident that we're going to do that. But anyway, I'd like to, like I said, thank our complete team. It's been a long effort to get to this point, and it's going to happen here, so thank you.
You know, the 405 leads you to the airport. Airport traffic, as you know, contributes mightily to 405 traffic, and which is why we have a flyaway from Van Nuys that's the most successful in the region. With us is Jacqueline Yaft, with a short message from LA World's Airport, also another organization we're working with.
So as the mayor said, the closure will impact actually two airports from the Los Angeles World Airport, LAX and Van Nuys. And as far as the non-stop flyway bus service from Van Nuys, Westwood, and Union Station will operate on a regular schedule. What we're encouraging is passengers will have to expect significant delays for those services, but they will continue on a regular schedule. We're actually expecting our busiest operations at Van Nuys Airport from all the news helicopters, almost all of which are based at Van Nuys Airport. Now, as far as LAX, that's our bigger challenge. The closure will actually impact our passengers and workers for the entire 4 days, not just Saturday and Sunday. Friday is considered our busiest weekday night, and Monday is considered our busiest weekday morning. So before the freeway opens, thousands of passengers need to be at the airport for check-in for that first bank of departures that we have scheduled. Our important goal operationally is to ensure almost about 20,000 weekend employees to make it to work so the passengers don't encounter delays because of lack of staff. We're also already coordinating with airlines, concessionaires, federal agencies, and transportation providers and other tenants to develop plans to ensure proper staffing. Our most important goal of this program is to contribute directly to the overall objective of reducing the number of vehicles on the road. The larger challenge will be how to notify the 170,000 passengers arriving and departing out of LAX every day on that weekend. I'd like, though, to dispel a general misconception that millions of overseas travelers will be impacted by the closure. Out of the 170,000 passengers that we have, which I know sounds like a very large number, only a quarter, which is about 52,000 passengers, are international passengers. And because of the language barriers and not familiar with the city, most of those passengers don't rent cars. So they use other means of transportation, family, friends, taxis, shuttles, flyaway, or public transit. We also talked to the rental car companies to advise domestic arriving passengers to find alternative routes and advise their passengers when they rent the cars. The ground transportation section of our internet website, lawa.org, which links to our website of all the transportation companies that we're talking here and organizations, we're expanding that section to advise and the travel tips and other useful information about the closure of the 405 already. We're also including a listing of the airport area hotels that we're currently talking to offer deals to passengers who might want to stay near the airport the night before their flight. Our Facebook and Twitter social media sites have already combined about 13,000 followers. Our partner from LA Link Convention Center Visitors Bureau can reach nearly about 400,000 social media contacts. For the departing passengers, our Air Radio at 5:30 a.m. station will be staffed during the busiest time to give an update on the airport status. And for arriving passengers, we have nearly about 300 volunteers and customer service representatives that speak combined a total of 25 languages to give them more information, which they'll have specific information about the ground transportation services for that weekend. With direct email and social media sites, our objective with all of our passengers to make sure that they're aware of the closure and to plan ahead and expect the delays if they intend to drive to the airport. However, when possible, to use the public transit, especially the rail, to get into and out of the airport.
Well, I think what we can learn is the best way to get them off the roads is to get the information out. You all have been doing that for weeks now. We're going to do it on a coordinated basis in a way that we haven't done very often. We're going to make it absolutely clear, and yet, even with the unprecedented effort that we're going to make, there will be people that will say they didn't know. Why didn't you tell us? That's the world we live in. But, you know, I can tell you that all of these agencies are working hard. It was amazing to hear the airport, the Caltrans, the MTA, the police department, oh, by the way, excuse me, the California Highway Patrol, all of these organizations working seamlessly together. They'll be tweeting, they'll be Facebooking, they'll be doing all of that. We'll have traffic officers at key intersections, and yet, as you know, the world we live in, there'll be people that say they didn't know that the freeway was closed on the 16th and 17th, and they'll try to traverse Coldwater Canyon and Pacific Coast Highway and wonder why we got gridlock. And remember, Sepulveda will be open only to residents. So if you're not a resident, don't expect to use that alternative. There really are no alternatives to the 405, which is why we're saying avoid the area. So the purpose of this effort is to work with all of you to get the word out. English and Spanish, we'll be doing it in every language we can over the next few days. You know, the best way to prepare is to plan ahead, is to avoid the area, is to stay home, is to go on vacation, it's to not be around the area unless you absolutely have to.